Hi, Ray Hayden here, and this video is going to be part of the Google Earth and Google Earth Flight Simulator video series that I'm making. And I always wanted to make this one. I've wanted to make it for a long time, but I knew it would be long. So I apologize in advance, but this is really cool stuff. I think that if you hang out and watch this and everything, and you're interested in Google Earth, or you're interested in Google Earth Flight Simulator specifically, you're going to find this to be a very, very cool video. I'm sure of it. Okay, let me know in the comments below if otherwise. In this image, there's a bunch of airports. All right, there's a whole lot of airports. This is Southeast Florida. We're about 164.07 miles above Earth right now, and we can see these airports pretty clearly. A couple of them we can't, but I know they're there. But other ones you can see real clearly. Now, my hand is a hand tool right now, so I'm going to park it right over a couple of really, really cool airports right now. The first one is Miami International, right? You might know Miami. At the end of Highway 41, there's a turbulent chunk of real estate. That is Miami. That's from the Blues Brothers song. And there it is, right? They're going back to Miami song. That is it. Right there at the end of Highway 41 is Miami. So this is the Highway 41 that comes across here, by the way. Calle Ocho. If you know Calle Ocho, it's a party thing. The business district had put them on a while ago to get more people into the area. It worked great. Calle Ocho is a big celebration. Usually very well done and receptive and everything, everybody on good behavior kind of thing, stuff like that. So it's a good, enjoyable thing that the city of Miami does and the business district of Miami does. So it's a great thing. But this road right here is the one that's it, and it goes, and it's Calle Ocho, Highway 41, right? Comes across the bottom part of the state of Florida. It is pretty much the furthest southern road that will get you from the East Coast to the West Coast of the state of Florida, right? But if you look right here, that bright white line comes in here. There's a canal along the highway. So you got a roadway. Like there's a roadway up here. There's Alligator Alley up here. This is Highway 41 down here. Not 441, that's a different road. Highway 41, which comes in from the Everglades and goes right by the southern part of Miami International Airport. So Miami International is pretty easy to find from way out in the middle of nowhere. I want to show you something a lot of people don't even know is there. Now, flying into Miami, they may have seen it. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. I wonder what in the world is that? And it's right here. This is actually a 10,000-foot runway out in the middle of the Everglades. Right now, it's probably being used as an emergency runway. They maintain it. Okay, folks in Florida, the aviation authorities maintain this as an emergency landing strip. There's another really long runway down here in Southeast Florida, and it's right here. And put my glove right over it. All right. That is Homestead Air Force Base, or Homestead Air Reserve Base at this point. This is one that got ripped apart from Hurricane Andrew back in 1992. It never did recover, but there is still an Air Force presence down there. The Air Force Reserve is down there. There is another airport way out here. I actually can see it. Unbelievable. I can't believe it. Right underneath my glove, there are two runways. One is going north and south, and the other one's going east and west like that. And they are right here underneath my glove. There's this like bright white thing above my glove right there. I'm going to move the glove. That green area, that kind of limey green area right there, that is Homestead General Aviation Airport. I can actually see it. I can't believe I can see it. But there it is right there. Now the other one I'm trying to see is kind of between this airport and Miami International. It is a pretty big airport, and I think it's right here. That would be Kendall Tamiami Airport. I believe that's it right there. I'm gonna have to zoom in a little bit to make sure. Yes, that's it right there. So there's another airport right there. Let's look a little bit further north. It's Miami International Airport. Now, if you follow, and this one here is hard to see. All right, this one here is hard to see. Let's go a little bit closer to it. And but if you go to the east end of Miami International and you look north, you're gonna end up coming into another airport, and there it is right there. This is Opa-locka. And the important thing about Opa-locka, like these airports have history. They have huge, huge history. This one here actually happens to have, we'll go and see these airplanes right here. These are Coast Guard planes. These are C-130s for the Coast Guard. They do search and rescue. All right, so they're very important down here in the Caribbean and all that. Doesn't take them long to get to the Caribbean. It's right here. All right, so let's go back into South Florida again and look at these runways and stuff like that. So that's Opa-locka Airport. There's another airport right at the top of this picture, and this is actually the airport that I learned how to fly at, and it's right here, and we'll scoot up a little bit. This is North Perry Airport. Now, the way to find this one is kind of interesting. There's a bright white spot out here. This has to do with electrical stuff. It's hard to, you'll see it because it's bright white. They use white crushed rock or something like that. So you'll see it from a really far distance. But if you look here, there's nothing here. But this thing here is here. This is a mobile home park. So the mobile home park is actually a visual reference point for this airport right here. And if you look at these, the roads are a grid. The major roads are a grid. So this one here is between two major roads. If you follow these two roads further out, you'll see that the one to the north is right next to the southern part of this mobile home park, right? So we'll go in here and take a look, and you can tell it's a mobile home park. And there's a street right here. And if you follow that street in, you will eventually find North Perry Airport. It's right there. All right, so that's a cool thing. It's really cool. So far away from the airport, you can identify where it is. Here's another cool thing here too, and I'm going to spin the globe around a little bit and point this out. It become obvious what this is. This is a great big giant arrow pointing to Fort Lauderdale International Airport. So you see the arrow pointing right to it, and let's tilt up. That is Fort Lauderdale International Airport right there. Another couple of cool things is, let's go out west here a little bit into the Everglades, and let's spin this around a little bit and down just a little bit. All right. If you follow this canal here, right, this one here goes in and has the arrow pointing right over here to Fort Lauderdale International. It's great. It's fantastic. If you follow this one here that kind of makes that little twisty turn, that goes over to Miami International, but it doesn't really line you up with the airport, okay? So why is this one great? Because you know that that's going to Miami International, and north of Miami International is Opa-locka. So if you come over here where this big X happens right out here, now it's out in the middle of nowhere. You know, you're out in the middle of nowhere, middle of nowhere, middle of nowhere, then get civilization. Right there where the X marks the spot, there's a major roadway over here, which you can absolutely positively see. It picks up right there, and it goes off in this direction. If you follow that road in, it's going to take you right to Opa-locka. Isn't that cool? I think it's super cool. Now, I'm coming over this way, and I want to find Miami International, and if I follow this in, I'm really going to be in Miami's airspace. I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. Yeah, you would be. So what do we do for that? Come out down here. Now remember, I talked about that turbulent chunk of real estate. Before I do that, let's go out to look at that runway out in the middle of nowhere. It's right here. All right. So this runway is a 10,000 foot runway. It is still maintained. It's in perfectly good order right now, as far as I know. And you can land there if you had to. All right. In an emergency, you don't want to go land there if you don't need to be. All right. But if you follow this road in, this is Calle Ocho. Highway 41 is Calle Ocho. Goes to downtown Miami over here. Okay. Which is way over here actually. And but if you look over here, you'll see that this canal, right? So there's this big canal goes here right next to Highway 41. And then north of that, there's another east-west canal. This one here goes right almost into the center of Miami International. So all you have to do is, like, if you were flying in like that, you would say, okay, you can see it, all right? It's pretty obvious Miami International. You're way out over the Everglades. You're far away, right? In a small plane, you're very far away. Even in a jet, you're pretty far away, all right? So you can line up on your runway of choice and do your landing. Good to go. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit and go back up to these canals. So what did we look at already? We've already seen that from this, let's start with Fort Lauderdale International. From this arrow points right to Fort Lauderdale International. This mobile home park right here, the south end of the park right here follows this road here. If you follow that road, you're going to find North Perry Airport. If you follow this canal here over to where this X marks the spot right here, you see the major roadways. That's Opa-locka Airport. If instead you want to go to Miami, in all honesty, you know, if you're just practicing around, you can follow the thing and you'll find this other canal going down here. Just stay outside of the, populated area, shall we say, and then line up and land at Miami International on the runway. Other than that, just stay out west of the canals here, and then make your turn into Miami International right there. If you want to go to Homestead General Aviation Airport, you're going to have to follow civilization out a little bit and just stay along the lines of civilization until you find it. It's right out here. All right. And actually this main road, this dirt road right here is very bright to your eyes. You will see it clearly. All right. So you'll know where that steps in, that's right by the airport. All right. And then Homestead Air Force Base or Homestead Air Reserve Base is right over there. And we are not allowed to land there anyway. So don't even try. Somebody will come out and say hi to you and you won't like it. All right. Again, these areas are pretty obvious from a great distance away. There's Lake Okeechobee's right here, right? And they have these canals right here. By the way, the canals are a really cool way to see this stuff. The furthest one, at the southern end, this one here comes around, and it's when it goes past Miami International right there. The next one comes in, think Fort Lauderdale, right? You got Miami International and Fort Lauderdale. This one here comes in, comes around, comes to this area here, which takes you to Fort Lauderdale International, and that arrow that points to it is right here. The arrow is made up by canals. That's right here. It takes you right to Fort Lauderdale International. And if you come down here to the mobile home park, that'll take you right in to North Perry Airport. The next airport in the Fort Lauderdale area is actually Fort Lauderdale Executive. Now this one here is kind of tricky to find. It's in this picture. There's actually 2 airports in this picture. There's Fort Lauderdale Executive and Pompano Air Park is here as well. Pompano Air Park is important because that's where the when the Goodyear blimp is in town, that's where it stays. So the Goodyear blimp actually has a Goodyear blimp hangar right there at Pompano Air Park. Well, here's how you find from here, from this particular view, as I zoom out a little bit, get Pompano back in the picture. This is I-95. I-95 is a very well-known road on the east coast of the United States, and it goes past the west side of Fort Lauderdale International Airport. It then makes a little slight turn right here. Other than that, it's pretty straight. But when it makes that turn, if you ignore the turn and just like kept going straight anyway, you'd run right into Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport's right there. That's a pretty important airport too, because I want to talk about the operations and everything that might go on there, but it's an important airport for business and stuff like that and other things. Let's just say that. And then northeast of that is Pompano Air Park. And over here, this very bright white area has just popped into place. There's a Goodyear blimp hangar right there. And that's where it lands. It actually lands here. It ties off up here, and it's a circle because it can freewheel. That's actually this is concrete circle for its wheel. So the wind can blow from any direction. And the blimp, you don't want the thing blowing over, but it's tied down, but you want it to be aerodynamic and like be like a weather vane. And it does. It weather vanes right here on the circle. It's cool. Anyways, so let's go out a little bit here, and let's show you how you find these things super quick. There is this area where the real estate bumps in, all right? This is a very important thing to help us find these other airports north of that, because we talked about how to find Fort Lauderdale International. Well, how do you find Fort Lauderdale Executive real quick? Now, Fort Lauderdale Executive is a business airport. It's a lot of business happens, a lot of business comes into there, and Boca Raton. We'll talk about that one in a minute. But there's this road, this canal right here. There's a really important park out here, and then they have this canal going along the side. Where this bend happens, there's a road that goes from out here in the Everglades, it goes east. Now, take note that right here, let's get in a little closer, it's real crystal clear. The road takes a really crazy bend, and it goes perpendicular, it goes right across, like a big X, across this road. This is the Florida Turnpike down here in South Florida, and this road takes this crazy turn right here and then goes east. And that's the airport right there. The major road north of that, also does the same thing. It makes that crazy turn right there across the turnpike and then continues east, right? Now, the reason why they do that, of course, is they needed to, make room for the turnpike. As the turnpike was being built years ago and everything else, these roads had to change their direction so that traffic can still move around. So they built a bridge, tore down the old one, stuff like that, whatever they had to do to get the job done. But these 2 roads make these crazy turns, all right? So if you were to come down here to this bend in the canal, you know that this road here is going to go past the southern end of Fort Lauderdale Executive. You don't even have to make a change at all in your flight. Just line up on this road, stay a little bit north of the road, and check this out. All right? You are going to line up almost with the runway. Now, the runway is a little bit off center here, and there's only one runway. The other thing's a taxiway, right? And there are 2 runways there, though. But all you have to do is just fly in. All right, and by the time you get here, you know where you're at. So just make your little turn and land on the runway right there. There's another runway going off in this direction here. All right. So, and make your landing and you're good to go. All right. So that's how you can find it from a distance out here. You're actually in the Everglades. All right. So let's go out a little bit, zoom out. The other airport I was talking about was Pompano. Okay. So again, you know these roads and everything, but from way out in the Everglades. Let me try to get this thing turned around. There we go. So there's this like kind of gem-shaped water canaled area right here and everything else. This is obvious. You're not going to miss this. You're certainly not going to miss this turn right here in the canal. Over here, you're not going to miss this one here because you might see water bubbling around and everything else. There's like a dam here or something like that, a waterway gate. They actually drain the Everglades if it gets too full. They have to let the water out into the ocean. It goes through these canal systems. It's part of the water management system. This is a huge canal. You're not going to miss it, all right? Trust me. If you were to fly along this canal, right, you're not going to be interfering with Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport over here. And by the time you get here, in this area here where the canal makes a turn, you'll be seeing Pompano. You can see it, all right? So then you'll be able to line up whichever runway you need to land at. And Pompano, a really cool thing about Pompano is if you get in trouble with winds or whatever, you can make your landing almost any direction here in Pompano, all right? And that's where the Goodyear blimp parks when it's in town. All right. So let's look at another really interesting airport, that business airport, Boca Raton. A great way to find it, there's two great ways. If you're down here to the south, you can line up on this canal right here, which is really, this is a really cool thing. I found this by accident somehow. I can't remember how. But if you line up on this canal and you look off in the distance, that is Boca Raton right there. And so it's like the same line. You'd basically be landing like you're going to be landing, turn around and come down into your land, do your downwind leg of your landing kind of thing. You could do that right there. But as you get closer to it, you'll see it. You know, even though it's around this, there's a college right here. It's Florida Atlantic University. This is kind of a big school and everything else. And there's a whole lot of stuff built up around it, but you'll be able to see it. You know, it's one of those things you're just going to be able to see it when you get close. That way. There's another way to find it real quick and easy, which is kind of interesting, and not, you know, you don't have to try to kind of hope you see it when you get closer kind of thing. Like if you're flying this way, you got to, well, I hope I see it and when I get close. You don't even have to worry about that. All you have to do is go up here to these canals are great. They're fun. They point where everything is. Go over here to this bright area down here in the southern part of Florida, and you see this bright area right here. It's part of a levee. This one here actually looks like it's got a sidewalk. It does. Real nice. So it's got a sidewalk levee up here, and that's going to stand out really well. But if you turn and face east on that, you're going to see Boca Raton right here. This road goes right to it. This road comes all the way out to here. Okay, this is that road. It kind of weaves in around a little bit, goes right over to Boca Raton. So there, you're not going to miss that one either, right? You got a nice bright path pointing you to where Boca Raton is. Let's go find the other set of airports up here. And the next two airports we're going to look at are Lantana and Palm Beach International. These are also easy to find. Let's zoom out a little bit and show you how easy it is to find. There's a couple of lakes. I guess they're man-made lakes or whatever. They're big. Okay, so you see a couple of big lakes up here. Yeah, these are pretty big. But there's a couple other ones that just look funny. They look like tonsils or something like that. They're hanging out right here. This set of canals has a big waterway next to it and everything, and this is I-95, right? So without worrying about the beach stuff, there's an inlet down here, and trying to figure out other things to triangulate on it, all you have to do is look right there. You see these two lakes. You can see these from a pretty good distance away. And from low altitude. I'm trying to get down here a little bit. All right, so we're here at 3,000 feet roughly. You can see these canals, all right, or these lakes. They're man-made lakes, a big park kind of thing right there, and it is north of Boca Raton. So there's Boca Raton, made that turn over there, and then also the road, I-95, gets to be nice and straight over this way. It's almost like another runway. But then that's where Lantana is. Now, Lantana is another general aviation airport. Another cool thing you can do to find Lantana very easily if you're way out west is you'll notice there's like bits of civilization out here. And actually, there's another runway right here. There's an airport you can live at out here. There's another one hidden somewhere too. I can't really find that one. I can't remember where it's at right now. But if you look right here, there's a big block of swamp, and then there's like this man-made area, and this one here too. So, and there's this bend in the canal, and then there's this other part of the canal. So you have these things kind of in mind. All you have to do is like basically line up on this set of where the canal meets mankind, and this is it's never going to happen over here. They may one day build housing over here, but they're not going to build housing out here. That simply can't happen. And you go in from that. Just all you have to do is just line in. Then another bright line road picks up, and just to the north of that is Lantana right there. All right. So these things are, again, easy to find that way. There's another one. It's a really cool way to find Palm Beach International, which is actually right here. And you can follow it right from Lake Okeechobee. So let's go out to Lake Okeechobee. There's another airport right here too, by the way. Here it is right here. They do skydiving up here and everything else. I can't remember the name of the airport off the top of my head. Maybe they got it on the ground. Maybe not. Anyways, well, I forget the name of this airport off the top of my head. I've actually landed here. But they used to have a sideways runway too. This used to be, I don't think it is anymore, but this used to, yeah, no, it's not anymore. But this used to be a runway right here too. Kind of interesting. Real short. So you want to be in an ultralight for that one. But let's go out here and check out that canal coming in. It's this canal right here coming in, right? And then it's going to hit the top of this water management district thing right here, a swamp, you know, for lack of any better words. And you see that it's actually flat. It's kind of flat at the top. All these other ones have kind of curves to them and everything else all around. But the top part here is like flat. It's got a lot of things going on. There's gates and water flood control and stuff like that going on. But it leaves this really big canal headed over to the east. And if we follow it to the east, all you have to do is just basically line up on this runway, or not on this runway, on this canal, out here in the over the farmlands and stuff, and out in the Everglades. Just line up on this canal and fly it right in to Palm Beach International. So that's a really cool thing. What I really want to point out is, well, Ray, these are kind of cool and everything. Well, how'd you figure this out? What'd you do and how'd you do it and everything else? And let me give you my secret to this. And this is how you can do it anywhere in the world, wherever you're at. Find the airport, locate the airport, however you want to locate the airport, using Google Earth tools and everything else, searching for things and stuff like that. And go ahead and go to the airport, be a couple hundred feet, maybe 1,000 feet or so up off the ground over the center of the airport, and just tilt up. All right, tilt up and look around. Like, what do we see here? Do we see anything here that's like blatantly obvious? No, not really. Here, over to the east. Well, I see downtown Miami right here. Okay, so we see downtown Miami, and if you know about downtown Miami, that's where the cruise ships are. They're right over here too. Right, that's a port of Miami. That's interesting. This little area right here, this island with these businesses, this is all business stuff right here, corporations and things, Burger King's down here and stuff like that. That might be interesting. But if I look out here, what I really do notice is the fact that there's a roadway. There's a major highway right alongside the runway right there. So I'm like, okay, well, let me go up there a little bit and take another look. And I can see this road is really obvious. And so is this one here. That's Highway 41. It goes out across the state of Florida. Okay, so that's a major one. There's that 10,000 foot runway out there. So then I start looking around and it's like, well, what's really obvious that gets me here? If I spin around a little bit more, oh, there's that canal that kind of gets me close to the airport. Doesn't really put me where I want to be. And then I say, well, how can I get to where I want to be here? And I see these roadways and these canals kind of bringing me right in. Okay, so that's how I see that kind of stuff. Same thing, this like a little X in the roadway here. That's how I find Pompano, right? So I'm like, oh, this bright white line goes out here. And then here's another road that goes out to that canal, which goes up to what? Lake Okeechobee over here, right? So then I started noticing these kind of things. And this is what you can do in your own neck of the woods, in your own part of the world, and you can see what kind of things will bring you into the airport of your choice. So I hope you thought that was kind of cool. Sorry it was so long, but I always thought that this was a fascinating thing. Once I had figured it out, years ago I figured this out, and I just wanted to kind of share that information with other people, and that, you can interpolate that into your part of the world and see where things are, see how to find the airports from a far distance away. Because if you're flying around a flight simulator in Google Earth, it's like, you got to fly right over to cities where legally we couldn't fly if we were in a real airplane. So if you want to practice real flying techniques and everything else, you really couldn't do it because you didn't, it was hard for you to find out where these runways and everything were. But now you can find them. They're go down to the runways, look around, find your different areas that you can spot from a great distance away so you can line up and make a nice, safe landing, all right? So with that, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like this video, make comments below, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And until I catch you in the next video, take care and be well.